Hello and welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we've got Eduard's latest release. This is the 1/48 scale sock with Camel. Now they've called this Camel CO, but allegedly it was supposed to be called Bigles, but apparently Bigles is probably trademarked and all the rest of it, so they've changed it to Camel CO. Big thing to remember with this particular kit, you get two of them, which is quite nice. You can see, lovely box art, very much classical as you can see there. Apparently it's a little bit of a what if with the markings and things like that, although apparently there is some real ones in here as well. As you can see, usual thing being a limited edition one, we've got tons of them. Beautiful, very, very colourful. That's the one. So kit number for this one is 11151. A little bit more details around on there, and let's have a look in the box. So, haven't been in here yet. Don't get in. There we go, we're in. So we are greeted by one bag which has got two of them in. Alright, so down in here there's actually two kits. Alright, so we'll have a look at that in a moment. And then in here we've got our instructions, which we'll have a look in a second. We should have two lots of photo etch, which we do, and we should have two masks, which we do. And then a giant decal sheet, as you can see, just down in here. Right, so starting off with the old instructions as always. Again, it's this is their own kit. There's various versions of it around, so just be mindful about having a look which versions you're going to be using for obviously parts not used and things like that. Otherwise it's going to get complicated very, very quickly. But anyway, starting off straight into the seat. As you can see, going down in the seat there, and then we've got the instrument panel. Some of the parts you're going to be removing, so anything usual that's in red in here, it means remove it, and you're going to be replacing it with photo etch and things like that, or a little bit of resin in some cases. Again, so that's that one down in there. We've got the fuel tank down at the back there, and then obviously fitting down onto the framework. Then we've got a little bit of the formal work and the instrument panel areas, things like that, down in here as well. Nice little side view showing how the alignment all works up with the actual control stick and the rudders and things like that. Then we've got the fuselage halves, and again, depending on versions, again, just make a note of which one you're doing on here, or which two you're doing. Again, popping these in, saying about not gluing that little area down in there for the guns on the top, but basically it's putting the little cockpit area in there and the tail dragger in as well. Underside going through, and then obviously you've got the top of the framework as well here. This is for the cockpit area as it drops down on the top, so that's that one. Engine work, and again we've got photo etch, which is going to take care of obviously some of the wiring and the various bits and pieces down in here, I assume. Actually, it looks like they are not. They are actually made of with the plastic parts, so that's fair enough. So that's those going down in there like that, and then obviously you've got your engine fitted. Again, depending on which versions you're doing, can get complicated, so I'd mark it all with a highlighter just so you can know where you're going with this one. Gun sight being fitted onto this one, guns being fitted down into it, and the actual sight, and then obviously those going down and in and on, again, depending on which versions you're doing. Then over to the actual the wings, control surfaces, things like that. So again, you've got photo etch as well, being replacing some of the kit parts. Some people replace them, some people don't. Personal choice on this one. And then those being fitted for the tail. Ailerons being fitted onto the wings, lower wing section going down there on there, and then the top wing with the bracing and the struts. The various things going on the front there. Again, it's all very much depending on which versions you're doing. Same with the wheels for the actual undercarriage as well, so just make sure you've got those sorted. Bomb rack, so it's photo etch as well, so you're going to be bending that and putting that in as well underside if you're doing that particular version. Props, and then down in here you've got all the different bits and pieces showing you for the wiring for the actual rigging, again depending on which way you want to do that one right the way through. And that completes your build. Nice, easy to follow diagrams in here showing you exactly ones. We're talking colourful, we won't go through them all because there's lots of them down in here, but we've got Bigglesworth's one down in there. And then obviously some of the other ones. This one I know quite well because I've done it myself in 32nd scale. Again, right the way through. So say beautiful, very nice, colourful marking options right the way in. Pretty much every colour is done right the way through on that one. So again, very, very nice indeed. So let's have a look at the decals. Now the decals I'm assuming are the new type. Again, I know there's a lots of controversy about the new type. I know lots of people who absolutely hate them and refuse to use them now. And I know lots of people who say they're not that bad. So take your pick. Okay, so these are the new type. So just be mindful of that, so with your thinners on there. But generally, as you can see, if we move in on the old close-up with it, you can see, very nice there. The way I always know they're the new type, because people often say, how do you know? The carrier film is a lot bigger on the new type than it was on when Cartograph used to do them and all the rest of it. The carrier film tends to be on the top rather than on the bottom. So yeah, anyway, so there's that one. So that's how I just know. So when you're into this area, for instance, that's a big old area with the white, you can see the carrier down into these. Is it a step backwards? Again, that is for another discussion. And then again, we've got those. Move them out of the way, keep them safe. We've got these ones down in here as well. Really nice indeed. Okay, whilst we're in the close-up stuff, we've got the colour photo etch for the cockpit and then the normal photo etch part. So you've got lap belts, gun sights, various things in there, as you might imagine. This is that Bombay system down in there like that. And again, it's mirrored on the other side, because don't forget, you do get 2 Sopwith Camels here. As we get 2 lots of masks, which is quite handy. All right, so in the pack, you get one giant pack which has got both in. So obviously we're not going to go through both, but needless to say, we've got 2 lots of clear parts, which we really don't have to look at because there are absolutely nothing really to see on those. It's just the little windows that fit in the wings, so you can see the pulleys and the various bits and pieces and the glare shield. All right, so we've got obviously, let me get this in here. This one seems to be impaled on it. So obviously we're going to get 2 of absolutely everything. So we've got 2 of those down in there. So as you might imagine, obviously we'll just pick through one set, pop one set down. Okay, so we've got 3 sprues each as this makes its way in. All right, so in sprue 1, again 48 scale, but it is really very, very nicely done, if we're honest. It looks really, really nice. And if we move over to the close-up, we can probably pick out some of the details. So say you've got all the ribbing showing through the fabric on the wings. The clear parts are for these are these windows, so you can actually see the pulleys and things running through them, just like that. There's your lower wing system. This is the top of your cockpits, again depending on which version you're doing. And then there's your cockpit side, which again, it's got the stitching marks all done into it and everything, so that's actually very nice indeed. On the inside, we've got a little bit of framework, which is quite nice as well for what you're going to need. And again, we've got 3 fuselage halves for some reason. Don't ask me why, but I'm sure there's definitely a good reason. Oh, there we go. It's got different types on the sides. So yeah, but as you can see, really very, very nice. And then obviously we've got the top wings, and the wings are actually one piece. So as you can see on the lower side, it's just as nice. There's no ejector pins or anything in these wings that are going to bug you or be in the way or anything else like that. So generally that's really very, very nicely done in all of those. Then we've got the carrying on, we've got the engines, the cowlings, depending which one you're going to be doing. We've got all the control surfaces, all the bits and pieces. And again, if we pop in here, we can see some really nice details down in here. And again, looks absolutely gorgeous, no problems with anything. Usual thing with Eduard, it's always very sharp, very detailed, very crisp moulding. The sprue gates are normally very small on the smaller parts, and they're a little bit bigger obviously on the bigger ones, but never usually a problem getting them on and off and things like that. As I say, no ejector pins on anything that's going to give you any concern whatsoever. So that's very nice indeed. Last up, we got some of the engine parts, as you can see just down in here. All looking very nice. So we don't get any photo etch, I was wrong. So obviously for the actual engine parts, things like that, it is all done in plastic, which is absolutely minute. But again, looking down on here, you can see your instrument panel, all looking very nice. And then moving up, these are your engine ones. And again, they are specific, so just make sure you've got a note of which one you're doing. But again, I can't see any flash, I can't see any nasties. There's definitely no short shots or mismolds or anything else like that. And again, more instrument panels, so again, making sure you've got your right one you're going to be using. And then again, very, very nice all the way through on there. So that's really, really nice indeed. So again, I think one of the nice things about this, it is a small aircraft. It's definitely one of those ones where you're going to need your magnifiers to do it. But what's really nice is you get 2. So again, the dual combo kits tend to be on the smaller scale stuff as well. So you're not losing out any money. You've got a fantastic decal sheet. You've got loads of colourful options down in there, and you've got everything you would really need. Again, rigging at this scale is not for me personally. I tend to do the 32nd. I've done Sopwith triplanes. I've done, you know, the Camel and a few others as well, always in 1/32nd. But again, if you're into the smaller scales, things like that, you can have a lovely collection of these right the way through. And again, the highlight for me is the markings. There's absolutely beautiful markings for all your options down in there. And again, with a little bit of colour photo etch just for the cockpit and for the lap belts, things like that, really does bring this kit alive. So it's probably an absolute must. If you're a World War I ace and, you know, fan and things like that, you're going to love this. It looks absolutely beautiful. So there we go. That's Eduard's Sopwith Camel dual combo set in 1/48 scale.